Such a lovely intro song. Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I am S.A.N, and today we will be starting my next Let's Play series. We're doing 2 Zelda games back to back this year. This time I'll be playing, as you can see, Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, the original, on the Switch Online library because I no longer have a Nintendo 64. I will be trying to beat this before the remake releases, as I've announced before. I fully expect the remake to be released sometime around Christmas, in time for Christmas at least. So that's probably October or November. I'm trying to get this done by October because I also have some stuff I want to do in October for Halloween stuff. So, with that premise, we'll be getting started here in a moment. And as you can see here, I have played this game before. No surprise. I'm just going to free up some space here. I don't know why I decided to not just use file 3, but whatever. Also don't know why I decided to keep file 1. I'm just going to be playing... I usually just play this all once. Anyway, I'm just going to go with Russell as my default name, is my name here, because you can name Link in this game. A lot of the early ones allowed you to do that, since it linked to the past. And I'm going to go with that name because it's basically the name of my channel. And now we're going to get the intro, which is going to explain basically everything in the Kokiri Forest and the Deku Tree and, well, Link, who I still will probably refer to as, despite the fact I named him after my name. Look, just go with it, okay? Each Kokiri has his or her own guardian Faerie. However, there is one boy who does not have a fairy. Yet. That's going to not last very long, I promise you that. I mean, you can see the title I decided for my first chapter here. Also, this game is nearly 30 years old. I imagine most people understand the basic plot of Ocarina of Time, or at least aware of it, because it's one of the best known games of all time. That being said, if anyone could please avoid any actual spoilers, I'm going to be avoiding any spoilers in my video, but I'm going to be playing through the whole game, so no spoilers in the comments, please. Just because some people will be playing this game for the first time when the remake comes out, and maybe seeing it for the first time in this video, for all we know, so. Alright, so now we meet Navi, who is probably the most put-upon companion character in any Zelda game for some reason. The climate of evil descends upon this forest, yeah. It's the midsummer July heat, people. We're in the middle of a massive heat wave at the moment while I'm recording this, but I'm doing my best. Yeah, so, yeah. The barrier around the forest is failing because... well, Ganon. Ganondorf, technically. It's funny how this game originally released. This, by the way, was intended to be a prequel to A Link to the Past. This was meant to basically show how we got to that point, potentially. The timeline's really divided at this point, from this point onward, because of the whole time travel aspect of it. But, yeah. At the time, this was intended to be basically almost like Ganon's origin story. Alright, and now we get a first-person view of Navi flying about. Yeah, right. And we get our first look at Kakariko Village? No, not Kakariko Village. Kokiri Village, I guess. Actually, isn't it called Kokiri? I think it's called the Kokiri Forest. I don't know if it's ever referred to as a village. And, oof! Okay. Yep. Alright. We're about ready to get started here now. Watching this intro as I record this, I really am curious to see what they're going to change for the remake, if anything, because, apart from updated graphics, obviously. Yeah. Time to get up. 5 more minutes. Yeah, this is very accurate, to be fair. This is me trying to get out of bed in the morning. Yeah, well, don't underestimate laziness. Laziness is the mother of invention. That's why I come up with so many creative solutions. I can't be bothered to come up to do the intended way, usually. Well, there will be less creative solutions in this game than there were in Echoes of Wisdom. This game is much more linear in a lot of ways. Yeah, so I have to go and meet the Great Deku Tree and do the various introductory stuff here. One thing I realized when playing this is there's a lot of effective like cutscenes and exposition cutscenes essentially in particular that you cannot skip in this game. It's called the Kokiri Forest. It's never referred to as Kokiri Village, even though it looks like a village. And here we meet Saria, who's going to be basically our childhood friend and going to be an important character in the long run of the game. But we're not going to have too much interaction with her just yet. Yeah, we now finally have a Faerie. And yes, everyone looking at the title, I use the old English spelling for Faerie. It's just what I'm used to using. I play Magic the Gathering, that's how it's spelled. And so that's just how I'm going to spell it for the rest of the game. It also was how it was spelled originally in Link to the Past. So I'm also really familiar with that. Yeah, so we need to go see the Great Deku Tree. I mean, we're just showing the path. Also, I mean, it's not a very big map. That's something else that's going to be some people have to get used to. Ocarina of Time is not a very big game. Okay, you have to talk to Mito here. He's kind of like the person in charge / the town bully. It's really weird having the concept of, you know, Kokiris who essentially remain children for life. And kind of like almost having this pseudo Lord of the Flies society. Yeah, so Mito doesn't believe that we were summoned because he wasn't summoned. And he doesn't like that. So he's not going to let us by until we are fully equipped. Which apparently in this game just means we need to go find a sword and a shield. Yeah, also he doesn't have any of his stuff here, but that's not important apparently. So we now need to go find those things. Alright, according to Mito's double standard, we need to go find a sword and a shield. In the meantime, we're going to also show, in this case, Z targeting here. I'm curious how many of these tutorials will be in the remake too. So basically, Navi was invented, by the way, just to give this Z targeting aspect of this game something that made sense in universe. She's what flies around our enemies and lets us focus on them. Because there's going to be near the end of this game, there will be something that prevents us from doing that. Oh, at a boss fight. And it gets called out even. So yeah, it's kind of interesting. I like that Nintendo tries to come up with in-universe reasons for that, even though they're willing to completely ruin immersion by just pointing out all the buttons, the fact this is a video game. Navi also exists as our, well, navigator, so our guide, just like that. I find it funny how people, like, criticize Navi in this game, but are fine with the navigators in the Persona games. Alright, so there's the Deku Shield. We need 40 rupees for that. We have no rupees, so we need to go find rupees. Fortunately, that's not difficult. You get 5 rupees. You get a blue rupee every time you jump over that little jumping stone sequence there. And there's another blue rupee up there. And there's plenty of other ways to get rupees, so it's not going to be difficult. We do need to get that. I find that interesting that they kind of did that in this game. You had to actually buy the shield. Because I guess it was just trying to get you used to that in this game. There is a lot of that. Alright. So, yeah, I don't know how much of the village I'm going to explore. Because, like I said, I want to explore this game, but I do also want to beat this game before... Well, like I said, October. Before the remake comes out, definitely, but I want to try and get this done before October so I can do my Halloween stuff this year. I considered doing it last year, but there was no time. My last Let's Play went too long, so I'm hoping I'm going to get this one done in time. I might, that's why these videos are going to be 2 hours in length. And if I need to, I might make them, some of the last ones, a bit longer if necessary. At the moment, I was hoping I get through this voiceover in this heat. Alright, so it's simple dodging a rolling boulder puzzle gets us the Kokiri sword. Well, I say sword. It's really a dagger. It's sting length, essentially, from The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. Still, I quite like it. It's a hidden treasure, apparently, but we can borrow it for a while. Does that mean this is the only sword? And then what is Mito using? Anyway, we need to equip the sword. And I'm gonna save just because we can. So full disclosure, you'll see me use both the suspend menu save points and the in-game save points. I like to try and be doubly sure about my save points in these games. It's not that big of a deal. But yeah, I will be using the suspend points just as actual, save points. This immediate area outside where you get the Kokiri sword is designed to let you test your sword skills. I played this game through dozens of times, I don't need to. But I do like the fact you can slice up these little sign posts. That was such a cool feature, I thought, when I first played this game. Nearly, 28 years ago. I played this game when it came out originally. Alright, this is Mito's house, so let's rob him. Because he's being a jerk. I really need a couple more rupees anyway. There we go. I'm sure everyone knows the denominations for rupees. Green is 1, blue is 5, red is 20, purple's 50, and silver is 100, and gold is 200, I believe. The higher denominations aren't quite as common, so I don't know them quite as much. I'm pretty sure that's it. Anyway, we now have the rupees we need, so we can go buy the shield. After which point, we will basically head directly towards the Deku Tree and the first dungeon. Like I said, every time you complete the little hopping game puzzle there, they give you 5 rupees. Alright. Let's go buy the shield. Alright, 40 rupees for the shield. By the way, yes, the Deku shield is a wooden shield. It'll burn if it catches fire. Just like in Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild. This is where that started, essentially. I wonder how many of these tutorial things are going to be in the Remake 2. Alright, there we go. The shield, which I will probably not use very often. I mean, it does serve a purpose in the dungeon coming up, but apart from that. Yeah, well, look, I have a sword and a shield now. Yes, I have a Deku shield. Yes, that is the Kokiri sword. What do you use for a sword, then, if you don't mind me asking? Hey. Hey, don't call Link a whip. Do you have any idea how often this 10-year-old boy has saved Hyrule by this point? He's not always 10 years old, but he is in this one. I think it's 10. Yeah, I think he's 10. Usually, that was the age. That was definitely the age in the first game. Right, and here we have our first enemies, the Deku Baba. You may remember them from my playthrough of Echoes of Wisdom. This is where they first appeared, and we also get a Deku stick. And as you can see there, Navi also serves the role of basically an identify type spell if you want. She basically just tells you about the enemies, gives you some clues, and I'm just going to keep talking over this exposition, explaining how many things you can carry. Alright, there we go. They're not hard. They can basically only sort of spin a little bit. And here we see the Great Deku Tree. He's pinning all his hopes on a 10-year-old. Well, to perfectly fair, everyone in this game is pinning their hopes on a pair of 10-year-olds. Anyone who equates age with, competence and wisdom is just kidding themselves. As the vile climate. Yeah, I can feel it. Trust me, I know what this vile climate is. It's the mid-July summer heat. Yeah, you've been cursed. Well, we all have problems. Oh, you need me to break the curse. Okay. Do I have courage enough to ask? Well, this is one of those but thou must choices. So, yes. Then enter. Yeah, this is the first dungeon in this game. First of 2, by the way. And we have to go inside something to help it. Yeah, don't worry. I know, I'm not gonna have much choice in some of these cases. Alright, without further ado, let's get to the first dungeon. I don't anticipate this taking very long, it's quite straightforward. Alright, and here we are inside the Deku Tree, the first dungeon of the game, essentially. Really weird how this is the inside of the tree, and you know, there's ladders and doors and various things here. The webs have exclamation points. This is another type of Deku Baba. This one will actually lunge at and bite you. And it can also differ the fact you'll either drop a Deku stick if you kill it that way, by getting it to stand up first, straight, or they'll drop a Deku nut if you manage not to do it. I don't know if it's just all of them do that, or if it's just only some of them is one or the other. I honestly can't remember. Anyway, so Deku nuts are essentially kind of like flashbangs in this game. They stun your enemy. They're quite useful, actually. And I should equip both them and the Deku sticks. The Deku sticks are just torches. There we go. Alright, let's head up this way. Like I said, don't ask me why there are ladders in here. Oops. Okay, yeah. Going to need to... The controls might take some getting used to. I imagine the controls will be better for the remake. Also, another thing I had to get used to, not using the C stick to look around. That's for items on this, because the C buttons were originally... Only the up one was to look around. Navi will, like I said, chime in with various hints, especially in this early dungeon. If you're familiar with a game like me, it's not that big of a deal to listen to them, but if you're new, it's a good idea to listen to them. They're there for a reason. I know some people find her annoying, but she's just trying to help. Alright, first treasure chest. It's in the opening room. How often does that happen in this Zelda game? Alright, we have the map already. Good. This isn't a very confusing dungeon, but still, I like having the map. Actually, this dungeon's pretty straightforward as they go. Just wait till we get to the water temple, though. Or the shadow temple. So, yeah, 5 floors. But most of the floors are just this one central, like, shaft, essentially. Chamber. Yeah. And she's gonna explain what the action command does, which is just the A button, by the way. Again, don't ask me why there are doors in here. And iron bars. Alright, here we have a Deku scrub. And this is why we need the shield, by the way. We have to bounce the nuts back to them. Don't let them get back in the little burrow there. You have to fight them again. So, once you corner them, they'll give you some hint. These ones will, at least, in here. This is just to avoid fall damage. Yeah. I can't guarantee it'll work, though, if the clip is really, really high. Anyway. Alright, on we go. Alright, this type of platform we literally never encounter ever again in this game. It just basically floats there until you step on it and then it falls. And the key point of that is just getting to this treasure chest, in which case we are going to get an early dungeon item, the Faerie slingshot. Yeah, so, I mean, I take it you know how a slingshot works. Basically, we can use little seeds as bullets to shoot things. It's kind of like the precursor to the bow. Yeah, it's basically just getting you used to the aiming, if nothing else. Oh, by the way, when an item has a number beside it and it's green, that means you have the maximum amount you can carry of that item. So I'm pretty sure most people can understand that, but just in case no one was wondering why that 30 there is green, it's because that's the maximum of seeds I can carry. Again, why is there a ladder inside a tree? Who knows? Just go with it. This was the 90s. These people. Alright. Now that we have the slingshot, we can take care of these Waltulas. And they're pretty weak. We could technically climb past them, but easier to just knock them down with the slingshot. Okay. Now you know why I like aiming with Z targeting. Oh, there you go. I was trying to look around and I accidentally used a Deku Nut. I hope the aiming controls are a bit smoother in the remake, because honestly, the aiming controls are one of the control systems in this game that could have used a bit of tweaking. I'm pretty sure they did tweak it for Majora's Mask, actually, because I seem to remember having less issue in that game. Most times I'm just going to be using the Z targeting though. And this is the big Skulltula. We can deal with them later, but for the moment we have another door to go through. Alright, this is a bit of a puzzle room. Technically, I suppose if you were speedrunning this room is optional. However, there is something else in here we are going to want to get at some point. But first, we have the compass. I don't understand why lots of people don't like getting the compass. I always like getting the map and the compass just so I can explore the dungeon thoroughly. I guess their thought process is it doesn't actually help you advance at all, because, you know, you kind of just can go through and explore everything on your own. I always find it so much nicer exploring with the map and the compass. There you go. That's what Deku Nut does. Basically just stuns most enemies. Skulltula's weak point is under its soft underbelly here. So you can either attack it with your sword or the slingshot. The jump attack does double damage, so it will kill it in one hit. So we have to light that torch with the Deku Stick to get out of here, but first let's bring up these platforms again, because there's something over there I want to go get. And no, it's not what's in the chest. It's what's behind the chest. This is the first of the golden Skulltulas we'll get in this game, and ow. We do a lot of damage. So, yes, this is a sort of a mini quest collecting game in this game. I don't know how many that I'm going to be doing. I'm definitely going to try and get at least the initial 10, because every 10 you get a reward. I'll show it. We'll get to where you get the reward later. And at the very least, I want to get the first reward because it's the big wallet, which lets me carry up to 200 rupees, which will make my life much simpler. Yeah. But I do not know if I'm going to go my way to get all of them. We'll have to see. As I said, I want to try and beat this game before October. So, now we need to kill these Skulltulas. And as you can see here, a little thrust with the Kokiri sword has enough reach to actually hit it. Alright. Now, we need to jump down onto that web section here. And, okay, I guess I messed that up. Alright, yeah, I think you have to land kind of in the middle. Alright, back up we go. One thing you will notice in this game is that when you exit a room, all the monsters will respawn. I do mean all of them. Alright. Here, Deku Seeds, these are the bullets we use for the slingshot. See, they're back. But, I mean, very easy to get rid of. Honestly, I think that inside the Deku Tree is probably the easiest first dungeon in any Zelda game ever. Because a lot of the ones before this, the first dungeon is actually relatively tricky. Even Eastern Palace in A Link to the Past has some difficult enemies in it. That was kind of the trade-off for being the first 3D Zelda game. Some of the earlier parts of the game were a bit easier, I think. Alright. There's a heart over there. I don't know if that means that's where I'm supposed to roll off, but... Oh! And I messed it up again? Okay. Maybe the heart is there to make you aim properly. Go for that one? I don't know. Well, we'll go back up and take care of it. Alright. Wow, I can't believe this is taking... Well, the third time gonna be the charm, because it's taken a lot... Oh, no, I'm going the wrong way. Yeah, unfortunately, there's no way to burn the webs in here. That's a thing that happens later. Alright, then. Nope. Wait until it's turned around, and there we go. Now a couple quick stabs. with the knife. I mean, it is a knife. It's a dagger, not a sword. It doesn't even have the dimensions properly for a short sword, actually. Short sword's a bit longer and a bit broader. So here's the second golden Skulltula. There we go. That lights that up. I'm going to need it in a moment. And yeah, there's the third one over there. There's 3 in here. And there's going to be a bunch of other scattered throughout Hyrule and the other dungeons. I'll get to as many of them as I can, but like I said, I'm not going to, probably not going to be 100%ing this game. Not like I did with A Link to the Past. And now we can easily get this one too. Alright, that's 3. I'm pretty sure that's all that's in here. Alright, now that we have that, we have to actually get out of here. Alright, yeah, we need that here. Alright, so we have to use the Deku stick here as a torch. Leap over here. Run up to the webs and burn them. And yeah, that Deku stick basically is torch. It will eventually burn away. Since their only use is as a torch, it's not really that big of a deal. And here we have another Deku scrub. They're not difficult to deal with. I don't know what else to tell you. This one's going to tell us something important, though. Yeah, so he has 3 brothers down below that we still have to deal with unless we punch them in the proper order, and he's going to tell us that order for some reason. So we spare him, I guess. 23 is number 1, yeah, so 2, 3, 1. Yeah, I mean, you kind of are a betrayer. You're betraying your family just because some guy walked up and deflected back a nut at you, spat at him. Not necessarily, I mean, yeah. Anyway, works for us, though. Alright, here we have the first diving section of this game. Again, there's a pool, a mobile platform, and a rotating iron. I mean, it's a dungeon in a video game. But why? I am curious to see if the dungeons are going to get redone or not, because that's something that I think some people have been wondering about. Because, well, these dungeons are, like I said, the entire game is nearly 30 years old. A lot's changed in 30 years. They might be able to make the dungeons more complicated now. Alright, there we go. Another dead Skulltula. There's gonna be a lot of that. Especially in the early dungeons. Alright, so we need to push this block. Apparently Link is rather strong, because it's a massive stone block that's bigger than he is. And yeah, Navi's gonna explain the whole grab and push and climb action commands. Alright, there you go. Once it's about there, you can climb up. And we have another light for torches puzzle. Not braziers this time, actually. In this game, it's literally torches. I suppose technically they are braziers. They're kind of made of metal? Yeah, torches are made of wood, braziers are made of stone or metal, so I guess technically they are still braziers. They just don't look like the other ones, whatever. Alright, and here I'm going to attempt to do my first jump attack, and I mess it up. There we go. Timing is key in this game. Okay. The jump attack does double damage. Also the first time the jump attack was ever used. So there are eggs up there. And this is where I said that the aiming for this game isn't the best. Because it looks like I'm hitting it as far as I'm concerned, but I keep missing. It doesn't matter. I'm just going to go under here, and the eggs are going to fall. And I'm going to fight the monsters that hop out of them. Goma larvae. So, I think you can probably guess what the boss for this dungeon is. We just had to fight this not too long ago. Different design this time. More or less spider-like. I'm not quite sure what these things are supposed to be. As you can see, I'm going to make use of Deku as much as I can to take advantage of it. That, and because if I don't take advantage, then there's just too much space in my inventory. Alright. Time to burn some webs. Get a fresh Deku stick for this out. So, we technically can come back here at some point and blow up the wall once we have bombs, but I do not remember what's behind there. At all, and I'm not confident I'm going to remember in time to come back and find out once we have bombs. But maybe we will. Alright then. So as you can probably tell, we are back in the room we were in before, but now on the upper ledge. Pushing this block down will let us gain access to that torch again, which we need to do to light a Deku stick to burn the web on this side. And believe it or not, we are actually almost done with the first dungeon. Yeah, this is the web we have to burn through this time. We can't just jump down this time and break through it that way. We have to actually burn the web. That's fine. We can do that quite easily. Just have to hop across here and burn it with a Deku stick. And then we fall into water, fortunately. Alright, I want to dive down and collect one of these hearts to replenish my hearts that I took damage from. There we go. Apparently you just swim across. Alright. And here are the Deku Scrub brothers. So it's 2, and then 3 is the one off on the right there, and 1's on the left. When I first started playing this game, I actually wasn't sure which one was supposed to be, like, which order was supposed to be. Because I knew the order to go in, but I didn't know which one was 1 or 3, because 2 is obviously the middle one, but still. It doesn't take you too long to figure it out. Your brother ratted you out. He's so annoyed, he's going to tell us his master's weak point, Queen Goma, yeah. In case you, I'm pretty sure you all guessed it was Goma. That was going to be the boss here. Strike with sword while she's stunned. Sorry about that. Why did you betray your master's... Never mind. Never mind. Let's just... save. Yep. I'm going to create a save suspend point here. Yeah, as you can see, I was playing this game earlier this year. Alright, first boss fight. And it's a joke. That's the first time they do that, by the way. Alright. So, we have to look up here at Goma, who has a very weird-looking eye in this game. Actually, Goma's design is just a little odd to begin with. It's very not spider-like or crab-like, which is usually what they go with for her. Alright. So, when her eye flashes red like that, ask her to either hit her with a Deku Nut or the slingshot to stun her, and then just attack her eye. Navi sums up there. I try to keep her within view of my Z targeting so I can keep her locked on, and now I just wait for her eye to turn red. She will try to spawn some larvae, but I'm going to just stun her first, and then it's literally just go on and keep stabbing her eyeball until the boss fight is over. And that's literally how long it takes. I think I'm going to be able to make a short out of that. Seriously, that took a minute. How weak is this boss? Come on, Nintendo. I mean, I know it's the first boss of the game, but the Armos Knights in Link to the Past were a better fight than that. In Link's Awakening, the game before this, it was Moldorn. And we get a heart container. I'm not making this a hardcore playthrough where I don't pick up heart containers. Alright, let's get out of here. Alright, we did it! First dungeon down. Hey, Deku Tree, are you feeling better? Yep, you can shower us with praise now. Hey! did it! Now I've got more to tell you. There's a lot of exposition at the start of this game, by the way. Now listen carefully. A wicked man of the desert cast this dreadful curse upon me. Gee, I wonder who that could be. Why does that sound so familiar, I wonder? An evil magic user constantly using their powers to try and find the sacred realms to claim the Triforce. I feel like we've encountered something like that before. A couple years ago now or so. Oh yeah, and here's the creation myth of Hyrule. Apparently the chaos of Hyrule was mist and rain. Din, the goddess of power. This is the first introduction of these goddesses, by the way. Nehru, the goddess of wisdom. And Faerie, the goddess of courage. With her strong flaming arm, she cultivated the land and created the Red Earth. So she did the heavy lifting. Nehru poured her wisdom into the earth and gave the spirit of law to the world. And apparently the sky. Faerie, with her rich soul, produced all life forms that would uphold the law. So that also means that, you know, they produced Ganondorf, which kind of means they created their own worst enemy. And their labors completed, they departed, leaving behind the Triforce. I don't know why, but there's something about the animation for the Triforce spinning that's being used here that makes it look kind of odd to my eyes. It's almost like... it looks kind of weird once it spins there. Yeah, okay, we must never allow him to ever get his hands on the Sacred Triforce. Don't worry! It's not like that's ever gonna happen. Yes. Unfortunately, we were too late. The great Deku Tree is going to die. And the problem is we're going to get blamed for that, probably. He was doomed before we started. Yes, what's going to happen to all the other Kokiri here? I mean, aren't they kind of in trouble? Don't they kind of depend on you for protection? Oh dear. Yeah. Alright, we have to go to Hyrule Castle now. The Princess of Destiny. I find it funny they try and make it surprise who that is. It's not like the game isn't named after her. We're also given the Kokiri Emerald, the first of the spiritual stones. This is quite similar to the pendants we had to collect back in Link to the Past. This is the first one, again the green one, and we need to collect the other two. Kokiri Emerald, the spirit stone of the forest. The future depends on us. No pressure. And with that, he dies. So that means if I want to go back into that bombable wall and find out what that is behind there, I have to go inside his corpse. That's kind of creepy. Yeah, this is probably one of the darker starts to a Zelda game, in all honesty. Alright. Time to leave the forest. Oh, and yeah, to give me, to really break in the bad news here, we have Mito. Yeah, did he? Yeah, he did. Yeah, see, I knew it! We got blamed for this, immediately. And there goes Mito off to tell everybody. Well, there's not much left we can do here, but there's one thing I want to do before we leave. We're going to take a slight detour into the Lost Woods just up here. I'm not going to go too far in yet because there's not much point, because we have to come back here anyway later. But there's one thing we can do now that might make our exploration a bit simpler. So we just have to go into the Lost Woods here and play a short mini-game. So just go left here, one screen, and there's this target set up. Whip out the slingshot and score 3 bullseyes. Okay, I'll give you 100 points each time. Then this Deku Scrub will be so thoroughly impressed with our amateur marksmanship that he'll give us a reward. There we go. We have a seed bag upgrade, essentially. Deku Seed's bullet bag. We can now carry 40 slingshot bullets. Not too big of a deal, but it was kind of nice to get this now. I could have got it later, because like I said, we have to come back at some point. I'm just going to rearrange these things because I have a preference as to where they go normally. And the Deku sticks are not going to come all that important. So, we have to exit through this way. Like I said, these maps are not very big. The Kokiri will die if we leave the forest. Oh. Well, I don't think the Deku Tree wants us to die, so I assume there's an exception for us. And Saria shows up to see us off. Yes, because we have to leave the forest, and, well, she cannot because of what was just said. Yeah. A little bit of foreshadowing here, but I won't give away what it is. And she's going to give us a parting present. An ocarina. Not the ocarina that the game is named after, though. Ah, such a thoughtful present, Saria. We're definitely not going to replace this the second we get a better one. That definitely will not be happening at any point in time during this game. A memento from Saria, yeah. Something we would not, you know, just randomly discard after getting a different one from a different girl. No, that would definitely never happen. Like I said, we do have to come back here at some point. Alright. And that's a very weird departure, but okay. Maybe he was just strung out with emotions? Yeah, who knows. He's 10, who knows. And now we get our first look at Hyrule Field. So, this is kind of the hub section of this game, for all intents and purposes. Basically, everything splits off from here. So we're going to be spending a lot of time crossing this field, and I do mean a lot of time. Alright, we might as well equip the ocarina, because it's going to come in handy. And don't ask me why, but I really like it being on the down button. I like it being in the middle for some reason. And here we meet the owl. Gebra, I think is his name, but don't quote me on that. I just call him the owl. He's kind of a similar navigator character to Navi. He just kind of stops by to give us hints and stuff. Yeah, we can see it from here. I'm also curious to see how big of a role Navi and by extension this owl are going to have in the remake, because a lot of things have changed since then, so maybe they don't need to be quite so, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, go here, go there. Then again, a lot of modern games like that too, so maybe they will just go with the same thing. And here's where people make a mistake. If they button mash, they hit no, and you have to listen to that all over again. So Nintendo has a way of punishing you if you button mash in this game, and it's always that for each one of his things. It starts on whatever answer is the one that gets into repeated looping. So they were paying attention. They wanted to make sure that if you were just pressing the A button constantly, that you would get stuck in the loop. Alright, so we have to head to Hyrule Castle and cross this field. Despite the fact that this is not a very big map, and in fact it's very easy to cross this field, I do not think it's possible to get there before the sun sets. As you can see, the sun's already setting. I'm pretty sure... Oh yeah, he's just over there too. You can see him. I'm guessing the owl is there, in case... No, not this way. You have to go that way. And then he flies to all the other trees, I guess, if you go the wrong way. Anyway, the sun's about to set, and the drawbridge into Hyrule Castle closes at night, I'm afraid. Oh, the other thing that happens is the dead come out of the ground and try to attack you. These are style childs. They're kind of like the undead enemies you encounter in Tears of the Kingdom of the Wild. Again, only at night, usually. And this is where that started. So, yeah. We're looking at Hyrule Castle. Oops. I honestly do not think it is possible to get there in time, because I've never managed to do so. I think it's almost... This is basically like a scripted event, essentially. As long as we stay on the road, no stealth children will come up to attack us, so we can do that. Apart from that, I'm afraid we just have to wait until the sun comes up, so yeah. Navi, what is it? I know, but the drawbridge is up. We cannot get into the castle. We have to wait till morning now. Alright. Alright then, I guess we're just waiting. Fortunately, we don't have to wait too long. The day-night cycle in this is not very long. And that's another thing I wonder if it's going to be changed in the remake or not. It doesn't matter. In short order, we're going to be able to control day and night, so we don't have to worry about this too much. In fact, I think this is probably the last time we have to worry about this. Alright, let's go inside. Alright, this little guardhouse room here is important. It has tons of urns, which means we can smash it to get rupees and hearts. This guy actually isn't even so bored, he's gonna let you do it. Lindsay Sterling, a musical artist who plays a violin, did a video with this. And it was basically her dressed up as Link going into a room with a sword and just smashing all of them. It was very well done. Anyone who hasn't seen that should really go see it. It's very well done. Looking back, I'm pretty sure I forgot something inside some of these boxes. You can't destroy them with a sword, but you can roll into them to smash them. Maybe there is? I do not remember if there is or not, but I think so, and I definitely do not remember breaking them open. The problem is lots of things like Golden Skull tools like to hide in dark places like boxes like that, or sometimes in trees, as we'll find out, and obviously dungeons. Anyway, the trick to this is to just smash all the pots until you have 99 rupees, which is how much we can carry at the moment. I need 80 rupees at least, because I need to get a shield upgrade that we're going to need for the next area. I know everyone says that, we're probably going to say in the comments, there's a discount you can get. Yes, I know there's a discount you can get. We'll be getting to that at the end of the video, but the problem is, I don't... the thing is, I just don't actually care. Money is not an issue in this game. Not when you can just come into this room and just smash pots until you have maximum rupees. To say nothing of the fact of all of the other, like, you know, ways you can get rupees in this game. And back in I go. Trust me, this is all going to be worthwhile. Yeah, you never have to worry about rupees in this game, ever. Because you basically have infinite rupees. There we go. 99. Alright, now we can continue into Castle Town. So this is the market area. Lots of people around here. You can talk to all if you want. This bazaar here is where I want to buy the shield. I don't know what the discount is because I never bothered to get it. I always come here and just buy the shield for 80 rupees. No, I don't care if I'm wasting money. It's a video game. No, that's fine. I can't really afford anything else. Alright. So here we have the Hylian shield. Too big for Link to use at the moment, but you can kind of turtle with it, which I like. Reminds me of the Deku Scrub using his shield in Majora's Mask. And here's another familiar location. The Temple of Time. The original Temple of Time. I say that because it tells you the time, which isn't the current time for the actual game, by the way. Or real time, because I checked. It was not the same. Alright. Here we are inside the Temple of Time. And this is where we need to use the stones. Got 3 hollows in the inscription here. Stand with the Ocarina of Time with the spiritual stones and play the Song of Time. That's what the inscription reads. We'll be back here much later. I just thought I'd show it off now. Alright, so now that we have that taken care of, it is time to head to Hyrule Castle proper. But first we're going to talk to this girl here. This is Melon. She is a rather important character in this game. We'll run into her quite a few times. I honestly don't know if we need to talk to her to trigger or not. I can't remember. Probably not. I imagine this is because there's nothing really that tells you you're supposed to talk to her. But yeah. Her and her father run Lon Lon Ranch, and they're going to be relatively important characters over the course of this game. So here's Hyrule Castle itself. And we're going to have another encounter with the owl now. Yes, we know which way the castle is. The princess is inside the castle just a Really? The princess is inside the castle? Thank you. I never would have figured that on my own. But on this ground, time flows normally, but it stays frozen inside a town or a Lon Lon Ranch or a dungeon or what have you. That's another thing I wonder is going to change in the remake or not, because, you know, it kind of seems weird that when you're inside a structure or a town, time stops. See? See? Again? It's on the one that gets it to loop if you press A. Alright, we need to get in here, but there's a guard on the gate. Well, let's see how far Honesty can get us. Yes. Doctor, we need to see her. Actually, no, the great Deku Tree sent us with a message and the emerald that we need to save Hyrule. Yeah, well... Fine. We won't resort to violence to get in there, despite the fact that we probably... Well, we can't. The game won't allow us to do that. Oh yeah. Golden Skull Tools are sometimes in trees, too. You destroyed the Golden Skull Tula! And we have another token program. Alright, now we need to wait for... Nightfall. And yeah... I cannot wait until we can control daylight. It's not going to be too long, but we do have to wait now. So... I'm going to smash these rocks and watch these bugs for a bit, and I guess we're going to wait. Kill some time while the sun sets. Ugh, finally. Okay, we have to go back into town now to reset this area, I'm pretty sure. I find it funny there's some guards here who are just standing guard. But they're kind of perfectly fine just letting me walk back towards the castle now, in the dead of night. Alright, so here's Malon again. We need her for something here. Yeah, so she wants us to find her dad, and she's going to give us something because he's fallen asleep. And she wants to go home. Yeah, there really is a theme in this game of adults being unreliable and children having to save the world. It really does fit into that theme. Yeah. So, yeah, she's been incubating this egg carefully, and she wants us to have it now. So, yeah. It's not too useful at the moment, but it will be very shortly. Yeah, okay, yeah. I wonder if that is going to be cut down in the remake too. All the same instructions for using items all the time. Alright. So now we need to break into this castle. It's much simpler than it sounds, trust me. So you just have to avoid getting spotted by any of these guards. This is the original stealth section in any of these games. Fortunately, it's really easy. Because these guards are only standing guard at points that, well, don't really matter because there's there's vines over there. There's this little climbing wall section here for stones. And now we just jump in the moat. Something I would love to do though, because it's really hot at the moment. Yeah, that'd be nice to go swimming. Okay, for how long it took for the sun to set, it seems to rise really quickly. And there we go. Apparently a day was all those needed for the egg to hatch into a cuckoo. Which we can now use to wake up Talon, not Mario, despite the fact he looks like Mario. Well, you can, just not where I need to be to get into the castle. Link. Perhaps you've heard of me. Yeah, so he's the owner of Lon Lon Ranch. I mean, sure. Castle delivered milk and sat down here to rest, and apparently the guards are perfectly fine with this guy just taking a nap right by the delivery door. Oh yeah, your daughter is looking for you. She's really gonna let me have it. Yeah, probably. She's been waiting for, I mean, a full day. And those guys are like, oh yeah, you're still here, huh? Wait, didn't we? Why did we see you out? Alright, so we need to move these, milk boxes, I guess bottles of milk. I mean, they've been setting out here for a day. No refrigeration. No precautions to preserve the milk at all. And milk will go bad if it's just left out in the sun. I mean, I guess it's in a container, but still. Alright, now we need the other one. Alright. And once it's in position, we can hop across and go through that tiny little gap there in the waterway. Don't ask me why we're getting in this way here. Alright, climb up. Jump across. Crouch down. And in we go. Alright, so now we're in the castle courtyard, and this is the second half of the stealth section. I do not understand why so many people find these stealth sections in these Zelda games so difficult. This is the simplest thing in the world. All it takes is patience. So, there's going to be one or more guards in each of these, basically, for all intents and purposes, almost a side-scrolling section. And we just wait until they're out of view, and then we go. It is literally as simple as that. After a little while, they're going to add these pair of guards instead. As you can see, one moves slightly faster than the other, or they move on basically like, I guess, intervals. They will eventually both end up at the center of these two fountains, though. And once they both go down that center path there, which will happen in a moment, we can go across. And it's security precautions like this that explains why Zelda gets kidnapped all the time. This is basically as bad as Camelot in Merlin, the TV show. Anyone who wants to sneak into this place basically can. So just be careful on this one. There are some rupees down there, but as I pointed out, because you can basically get infinite rupees just smashing those pots if you're patient, that's not necessary. So now we have two more going around this little statue of something. I have no idea what it is. I imagine we might be able to get better graphics for the remake, and then we'll maybe be able to tell what some of this stuff is. I find it interesting we can't draw our sword in here, which is normal because this is a non-hostile area. We can't use any of our items either. I guess if you gave Link access to some of the items he would have over the course of this game, it would be very easy to get in here and out here. Alright, there we go. One more section. Yeah, so there are two guards here. Again, and this isn't any harder. Yeah, the main difference is the distance here is too far for the N64 to process both the graphics for it. So we just wait for him to go, and now we can see both of them again. We are basically just following behind this one guard and staying ahead of the other guy. And once he's moved on, we just go past. I never look behind them. And there we go. We're through the stealth section. It wasn't very hard, was it? Alright, time for the destined meeting to occur once more. I find it funny how in some Zelda games, Link and Zelda are like old childhood friends. And in other ones, they're complete strangers. I am the hero of Hyrule. A 10-year-old boy from the forest. Apparently she's intrigued by the Faerie, not by the fact that I have a massive shield and a dagger strapped to my back. And here we have many more but thou must choices. Basically, you can say no, but it just resets the choice until you say yes each time. So there is literally no point. Oh, by the way, that window over there in the distance, you can see characters from Mario games in there. Portraits from the Mario 64, which came out a couple years before this. She's going to explain her little prophetic dream here, which is something that Zelda has quite often. A green and shining stone, followed by a fairy. Yep. Someone would come from the forest. Yeah, that's us. And didn't even properly introduce yourself. Look, Zelda, everyone knows who you are. Also, why are her eyebrows green? Her hair is blonde, but her eyebrows are, like, green. I never understood that. That has honestly been rather weird since the start. Since I first played this. Her eyebrows are green. Okay, we'll keep it a secret from everybody. Nice callback to the first game. Time for more exposition, everyone. Look on the bright side. We're getting it all out now. Somewhere in Hyrule. Why didn't they just take it with them? Would have solved, like, so many problems. Yep. Well, wish-granting devices like that are never a problem. Gee, those sound rare. If someone with an evil heart, evil mind has wishes granted, the world will be consumed by evil. Gee, why did we leave this thing? Oh wait, we didn't leave it lying around. We actually did hide it. Yeah, so the ancient sages built the Temple of Time to protect the Triforce from evil ones. I think I probably should have, you know, well, I guess it kind of makes sense building a castle around your temple to defend it. I don't know. 6 of one, half a dozen the other. I can see it going both ways. Yeah, we were there. The sacred well, but the entrance is sealed with a stone wall called the Door of Time. And in order to open the door, it is said that you need to collect 3 spiritual stones. And another thing is needed is the treasure that the royal family keeps along with this legend. The Ocarina of Time. She said the title of the game! Yeah. It wasn't exactly complicated, Zelda. Yeah, she was spying through her just now. It's funny if you think about it for long enough. Link and Zelda in this game kind of come off as a pair of delinquents. I mean, come on. That is a very angular face. His head comes forward so much from his neck. I mean, I think it's mainly the nose and his, like, massive forehead, but still. That we had our first look again. Well, technically, no, it's not our first look. He was in a dream, and then he was in an exposition sequence. This is actually us kind of meeting him. I mean, he is all dressed in black and does kind of, you know, look sinister when he smiles like that, but still, Zelda, this is maybe jumping a little to conclusions. Okay, I won't worry about apparently the man you think is evil, knowing who I am. He has no idea what we're planning, yet. I'm glad you added the yet there. Okay, she told her father about a dream, but... seriously, there is a serious theme in this game of adults being useless. We're trusting her 6th sense for evil, apparently. Bit of a leap. He must have come to Hyrule to obtain it. He wants to conquer Hyrule. No, the entire world. Yeah, there apparently is supposed to be a world beyond Hyrule, but we never get to see it. Well, we actually kind of see bits of it in other games. The fate of the world rests on a 10-year-old boy and a 10-year-old girl. Yeah, so you said. He has such terrifying power. Well, he is supposedly the one who cursed the great Deku Tree to death, so that does... we must not let Ganondorf get the Triforce. With all of my power that I possess as a 10-year-old. And we have to go do the hard part and find the other 2 stones, yeah. Let's get the Triforce before Ganondorf does, yeah. One more thing, take this letter. I'm sure it will be helpful to you on your journey. You received Zelda's letter. Wow, the letter has Princess Zelda's autograph! Okay, to be fair, that is a 10-year-old thought process. It's not, this might come in handy. Oh, wow, this is cool. Uh-oh, I think we've been spotted. Fortunately, this is just Impa. And who is a major departure from the Impa you may remember from, well, Echoes of Wisdom and Tears of the Kingdom. This is the younger bodyguard Impa. Yeah, what do you think about the fact that we're entrusting Hyrule to a 10-year-old you people have just met? Am I the only one who thinks that might be a bit of a problem? Alright, we're also going to learn the first song here. I played the song as a lullaby ever since she was a baby, yeah. Hence the name. There's a mysterious power in these notes. Yeah, we're gonna get to see some of the magic that these songs can do. Quite a bit. And this is by far the simplest song to remember in the entire history of the games because it's just the Triforce, essentially. There we go. We played Zelda's Lullaby. Not heard in the background here is Zelda going onto her back as she falls asleep listening to her favorite lullaby. I wonder if that's going to happen in the remake. That would be very funny if you could look in the background and see Zelda go wee and flop down to have a nap. Really? I don't think they're going to find me. I was able to get in here pretty easily. But she's going to lead us back out just to shorten our trip. Why are they entrusting the future of the world to a 10-year-old? Oh, Death Mountain. Yeah, Homogorons. Yeah. This is Eldin, before it was Eldin, by the way. At the foot of Death Mountain, you will find Kakariko Village, her village. We're gonna be going there. Don't worry, I will. We have a bunch of preparations to do now before we go on to the next dungeon. Has been some mysterious power. Yeah, only royal family members are allowed to learn. Well, Link, no pressure, but apparently you have to marry into the royal family now because to keep that true. We're counting on you, yes. We're counting on a 10-year-old to not screw this up. I don't know why she does that all the time. What is it with Sheikah and having to disappear with Deku Nuts? Alright. Before we depart, I'm going to go replenish my rupees. Alright, now let's go. So we could head straight to Kakariko Village, that's perfectly an option, but first I want to skip across here and head towards Lon Lon Ranch. Because there's a couple things we can do there first. So I hope we can get there before the sun sets, because like I said, their days don't seem to last very long here, and nights seem to last too long for some reason. But this will be the last time it matters. I think we're gonna be fine. Okay, I say that, but now it looks like the sun is starting to set. Alright. Melon's still out, and we can easily get into the house, so that's not a problem. Oh, I don't know why I'm going to bother smashing these pots. I have enough rupees. I'm carrying the maximum amount I can. Alright, so first stop in here. So, there's a little game we can play here with Talon, but to simplify things, I'm going to rig the game. I just need to grab... No, I don't want to speak to you yet. No! So, for context, the way this game works is he's going to release these 3 specific cuckoos. I think he calls them super cuckoos or something. Into the herd of other cuckoos, and we pick them out, and we get a reward for it. What we can do is if we pick up all the other ones first and throw them behind there's a good chance they're basically never going to get out. And that means we can easily pick out the 3 rupees. Otherwise, it's kind of a little difficult to tell. Alright, so that's what we're going to be doing. Like I said, I don't want to do it just yet, because... Just throw them... Alright, they won't go over the ledge. So, like I said, all we need to do here is just throw these over here. And once we do that, they basically don't move around too much as it is, so should be perfectly fine after that. Alright, we have a couple more to do. Let's take about 3 more. And then we can start the game. We're given a total of 30 seconds to do this. Normally, it's not the easiest thing to do in the world. Once you make the game this rigged, though, it's really easy. Alright, there we go. That last one there at the edge might come out a bit. But for the most part, we find it. Yep, alright, that's fine. I can very easily sort this out now. Hey, look, we only have a limited amount of time to play this game. At least, so I'm gonna take whatever advantages I can get. 10 rupees, yeah, that's fine. I have 30 seconds. Ah, okay, one of them did manage to get back out. There's the first one. Alright, there we go. This should be number 2. And number 3 is right there. Ah, come here. There we go. We got all of them. Which means we now get our reward. And our reward is his daughter's hand in marriage. There is a prevailing theory, though, that Melon is Link's canonical love interest in this game. People like pointing that out, and I do understand where it comes from, but whatever. Our actual reward is a bottle of Lon Lon milk, and afterwards we get to keep the bottle. So we have our first empty bottle, except it's not empty. We have 2 doses of milk in it. Each dose heals 5 hearts, which is more than we have at the moment, but it's a good healing item to have. 2 drinks per bottle. Yeah, will come in handy. And the best part is, this isn't the only bottle we can get at this point in the game. We'll be getting another one shortly. Alright, before we leave Lon Lon Ranch, let's go talk to Melon again, and we can learn another song from her. We're also going to meet another important character. A rather famous one. That's right, we're about to meet the first appearance of Epona, the horse. Yeah, we did. He was asleep at the delivery entrance, and the guards didn't feel the need to, do anything about it. Yeah, well, Hyrule security, you know what it is like. Her name is Epona, isn't she cute? Apparently she's gonna run off. So the trick here is just to keep talking to her until we exhaust her dialogue, and she's gonna teach us the song. Alright. And yep, Mother composed this song. Isn't nice? Let's sing it together. Alright. Once that's said, whip out the ocarina, and we can play along with her now. Same notes as Zelda's Lullaby, just different order. Alright, and now we know Epona's song. This won't be useful for quite some time in this game, believe it or not. But we will need it. So it's worth picking up now. Because we were going to come here for the bottle anyway. There we go. Epona likes us now. It's that simple to befriend the horse. Oh, and the owl is here for some reason too. Yeah. Horse is gonna nudge against us like that now. Jeez, I don't find you. Hey boy. This horse is bipolar. It doesn't like anyone who doesn't know the song, but loves anyone who does know the song. Alright, before we leave, there's a gold Skulltula we can get here. Actually, technically I think there's two we can get here, but one of them requires us to come back at night, so I'm not going to do that just yet. This one, however, I will get. There we go. Our token proving we destroyed it. Alright, that's all we can do in La La Ranch for the moment, so we're going to head to Kakariko Village next. So I have 5 now. Halfway to 10, which is probably where I said I'm going to stop getting, at least going after them. Alright, we now need to cross Hyrule Field over to where Death Mountain is to head to Kakariko Village. The sign is definitely going to set before we get there, so I'll have to fight. Might have to fight off some undead. Boy, can I call it or what? Yeah. Despite how small Hyrule Field is, as I said, without Epona, crossing it before the sun sets or rises is rather difficult. Fortunately, it doesn't matter from this point on, because we're about to learn another magical song that lets us control day and night. In fact, we're going to do that pretty much immediately once we get to Kakariko, because it's going to be dark now. So it doesn't make sense for us to do anything else. In fact, there's not much else we can realistically do in Kakariko at the moment. So, the one thing we could do is immediately, and I do mean immediately, head up Death Mountain. We could just head up that way to the left there, up those stairs, and keep following that path, and we'd eventually reach the gate we need to get to. First, however, we want to do some exploring in Kakariko Village, because there's a couple things we can pick up. The first thing is because it's nighttime now, there's a gold Skulltula right here. I just constructed the site. That we can get. There we go. Also, while we're here, we might as well show you the actual house of the spider's curse that we have to go to get our reward. It's right here. So I'm just going to pop in here quickly. We don't have enough yet to get any of our rewards, but you can see the horrible fate that's befallen these people, so probably is a good idea to help them out. But it's every spider of the curse that we have to destroy. And I cannot remember. I think it's every 10 you get a reward, so I think it's like 50 or something. Yeah, so basically, he's just explained all the details. They're not really important because we just have to find them, track them down, and kill them. Oh, and collect the icons. That's not optional. That is proof that we did it. And that's how the game tracks it, basically. Yeah, this is just their dream. They understand if we don't want to. Yeah, but they'll make us rich, apparently, if we do. Well, that's going to be a long-term thing, and the short-term we're not going to be able to do too much of it just yet. In the meantime, let's head towards the best part of Kakariko Village. Everyone loves it there, the graveyard. Alright, Kakariko Graveyard. Oh, I have so many... I'm gonna just call them fond memories of this place because, well, it's sounds sarcastic. Yes, we are going to head over here to this massive tombstone with a Triforce mark in front of it. After I completely disrespect those graves by leaping across them. And now we need to play Zelda's Lullaby, and we get a first look at some of the awesome magical power that is tied to songs in this game. I'm just saying, if we used this lullaby, and we're able to do this at Ganondorf, this game will be over really fast. Wow, we conjured up a storm. What's the point of the Song of Storms, then? Yeah, it's also going to call down a bolt of lightning to utterly destroy that tombstone. So I assume you can tell the fact that we need to go down there now. Yes. Alright, down we go. Royal family's tomb, which has infested with keys. Well, we have a slingshot to take care of them, so it's not that big a deal. Unfortunately, it's infested with something far worse, because the keys definitely didn't leave all these bones here. There we go. Just a couple more to take care of with our slingshot. And now we can open the door into the tomb proper, where we are going to run into the undead horrors that traumatized an entire generation. Allow me to introduce you to the original Redeads. So, yeah. Low, moaning zombies that can shriek and paralyze us with ease. Fortunately, if we just stick behind them just a bit, we should be fine. Just sneak by. Okay. As long as we're at a distance when they paralyze us, we're fine. You can go through that green water, but it's not worth it. It's also not worth killing them at all. Just avoid them. Alright, now we need to read this inscription here. The rising sun will eventually set, and newborn's life will fade. From sun to moon to sun, give peace for the rest of the living dead. That's a rather morbid poem for a game that's rated E for everyone. Yeah, well, something is inscribed here on the tombstone. Here we go. Here's the song we need. Secret melody of the Composer Brothers. We could technically have fought them before we came down here, but there was no point. Here we go. We now learn the Sun's Song. And the Sun's Song's purpose is, as it says, to turn day to night or night to day. And it has an interesting side effect, is when played next besides Redeads, it basically freezes them in spot. Just like how they can freeze us with their cry, we can freeze them in place with the Sun Song. I think I just spotted a glitch there. Or a bug. Navi was outside the tomb, despite being inside with us. Rewind a little bit, I think you can see it. Yeah, so we can give peace to the living dead with this song. Apparently, peace in this case is just immobility. I'll demonstrate it for you. Also, it turns day to night, which means it'll be daytime when we go back outside again, which is good. So as you can see, they're basically frozen in place. We could attack them if we wanted to. Apparently it says its gaze will paralyze us. It does look in our direction. But it's always I've always interpreted it as the cry. I think almost everyone else has. And later Zelda games definitely went with it being a paralyzing cry that basically stuns you. Alright, as you can see, it is now daytime. It's still raining because, well, I don't know. Some side effect of the storm we conjured up with Zelda's Lullaby. Yeah, some of the songs in this game their power is very different levels, but that's fine. Alright, now... No, that was me trying to look around again with the C-stick. We have to talk to this lady, who has chosen a poor career choice, given the fact she's allergic to cuckoos. We have to bring her 7 cuckoos back here, and she'll reward us. This is another short side quest that is very worthwhile, because this will get us our second bottle. There's a couple out of the way ones, like that one right there, and there's a couple over on the side of the fence there we have to get. All in all, this isn't difficult, it just requires us to run around. Yeah, also, Navi's going to give us a hint here of what we're supposed to do next, which is go talk to Saria. Technically, we don't have to do this just yet. It's an option to do it, so once we, you know, go to Death Mountain, we can come back, basically. But it will probably save time in the long run if we do it now. Yeah, we'll probably do it before we head up to Death Mountain and talk to the Gorons. It will save time in the long run. In the meantime, we need to use this cuckoo to cross over the gap there to get to the other one. There we go. And that's 2 of them down. By the way, if you ever find out the fact that you've run out of cuckoos around here to use to do the little gliding thing, don't worry, you can always go back into her pen and just take one out and do it afterwards. In fact, I'm probably going to have to do that myself at some point. Right, so that's 3 down. So there's one across there, and there's another one up by the windmill. In the meantime, there's another one up towards the gate we have to go out. I'm gonna got that one. There it is. Alright, that's the gate we have to go through, by the way. Up there. We'll be going through there a bit later. Alright, that's 4. So, there is another way to get to where I need to go, by the way, which is behind that fence. There's a potion shop right here that's being set up. And you can go through the back to get there. Unfortunately, because the shop isn't open yet, this guy's blocking the path. Also, apparently these construction workers are all very dissatisfied with their jobs, and they all want to become thieves. I'm sure that's not going to come back to bite them at any point in time. Right, the good news is, going through there didn't resell the cuckoos. The bad news is, like I said, I'm going to need to borrow one now to try and get the other ones. Because I now need to glide over this gap. Which I cannot do without a cuckoo. So, time to grab one. Yep, don't worry, I'll bring this one back. I'm bringing all the other ones back, so why would you not trust me to bring this one back? Besides, you can't exactly take them from me, can she? She's allergic to them. Why would you work with chickens if you were allergic to chickens? That makes sense. Right. Once you're over here, just throw this one back over the fence there. It'll run around there without causing any problems. And now throw this one around. As well, once it's over, we can go up the ladder to get the next one. And those will be 4, 5, and 6. There's only one left. It's up by the entrance. I could have gotten it already, but it was fine. Also, I forgot where it was when I was filming this. There we go. Here's one. Alright, so that's number 6. Pick it up, and now we can jump off. As you can see, there's an entrance there that's on a higher elevated platform. The cuckoos can't get us there, unfortunately. We'll have to come back for that later. Do not worry, it's very simple to get it in the long run. 5. And this is number 6. And I'm just checking here because I thought couldn't remember if there were actually 7 or not. Yeah, there's one more. It's out by the entrance. The only thing you have to be careful here is not to actually leave Kakariko Village, because that does reset all of the cuckoos to their original spots, which means you have to do it all over again. Here it is. And that's 7. Which means we have earned ourselves our 2nd bottle. Seriously, why are you working with cuckoos if you're allergic to them? It just seems like a bad idea. It's like someone being allergic to cats deciding to buy 7 cats to live with them. Well, that's her own problem. We now have our 2nd bottle, and we can continue on. Alright, there's a number of things we can do now, but the first thing, like I said, is we should probably head back to Kokiri Forest. I guess not village. And we are going to talk to Saria because Navi seems to want us to do so. Like I said, it is worthwhile us doing this now because it will save a bit of time later. So we now have to cross Hyrule Field again! Get used to that. Like I said, this is basically the hub area. The good news is, it doesn't matter now. We have the Sun Song. So even if sun does set, we can just turn it back to day, or it doesn't really matter. Also, I think this is going to be one of the few times we're crossing Hyrule Field which it doesn't set. Oh. I'm still used to trying to use the C-stick to look around because most other Zelda games I play these days tend to have that feature. Which makes me wonder, it's probably going to be in the remake. I mean, unless... yeah, I can't imagine it not being in the remake. I imagine there's going to be lots of quality of life things that they will update for the game for modern consoles. Alright, back to Kokiri Forest. See, we didn't die. Hopefully that doesn't mean any of the rest of you are going to try and do that, because I think you will die if you leave. Alright, so we need to go through the Lost Woods now proper. Like I said, I could easily have saved the slingshot upgrade until we got here, but I did not know at the time if we were going to come all the way back now or not. So, we are, so it doesn't matter. Alright, so if you listen to the song as you go through the woods, it'll get louder or quieter depending on basically whether you're going the right way or not. And this guy is going to tell us that again. Yeah, the Sacred Forest Meadow, that's where we're heading. Yeah, you can hear the song. That's what we're supposed to follow. No, I do not want to listen to it again. And see, this is where button mashing gets you in trouble. Yeah, okay, just follow my ears. Unfortunately, like I said, it's been hot recently, so when I was recording this, I had my fan turned up and it was difficult to hear the sound necessary, so I had to turn my volume up to max. Because as you're about to see, I'm going to go the wrong way here. Well, better to do it at the beginning than later on. So then I turned my volume up to maximum. for my speaker so I could hear the actual song over my fan. It's not going to change the sound at all for you guys because I'm using a separate, just recording my desktop audio for when I was doing the actual video. And once I do that, it's pretty straightforward to find the right way to go. Just listening. As you can see, also, the real way will start to reveal itself as you go through it up until the last one. Alright, so here in Secret Forest Meadow, you have to fight this Wolfos to lower that gate. So you could try stunning them with the Deku Nuts, but they dodge quite well. Or you can just parry their attacks with your shield and then stab, which is simpler but takes longer. They also will guard. As you can see, the Wolfos in this game is kind of more of a lycanthrope-style werewolf than just the wolves who we remembered in Echoes of Wisdom. They both like to circle you. Fortunately, we don't have to fight multiples at once, at least not this way. There we go. Now it's down. Defeated, we can go through this little maze-like section where a whole bunch of Deku Scrubs are going to spit seeds at us. I could switch to the Deku Shield again and just block and deflect their projectiles back at them, but it's a waste of time when you can just roll through it and just avoid them. Alright, so once we go up this way, that's the way we have to go, but up this ladder is a nice little secret here. Hey, I landed in the hole. Our first fairy fountain. So I have an empty bottle, so let's catch our first fairy. Like I said, this is all for preparation for the next dungeon, which is probably overkill because the next dungeon's not much harder than the last one we were just in. But it pays to get all this stuff done now, so it saves us time in the future. Yeah, fairies are very forgiving creatures because you can trap them in a bottle, and even later on after doing that, they will come out of it and heal you should you die. Alright, now that we have that taken care of... Oh! Yeah, the camera controls in this game are a little awkward sometimes. Oh, there we go, I managed to jump across this time. So this is the way we have to go. And then we have a couple more Deku Scrubs to dodge. And this is the proper Sacred Meadow Grove, a place we will come back to later. And here's Saria, whom we had to go talk to. This is basically her secret place that she likes to come and be alone. The Sacred Forest Meadow. And apparently this place is going to be very important to us in the future. Which is a nice little bit of foreshadowing there. Right. And she's going to teach us another song. 4 songs in one video. Not going to be quite as many of those in the future, I promise you that. We've already learned a good chunk of them. I mean, there's only 12 songs. We've learned a third of them thus far. That's interesting if you actually look at it. It's kind of the opposite of Epona's song. Yeah, let's just talk to her over long distances. It has a few other purposes, including the fact we're going to get something we're going to need in short order. Alright, we can leave now. That's all we need to do here for the time being. Nice to see Saria, though. Alright, we just jump across the tops here to get back the way we came. And then it's just a simple method of taking the wrong passageway to take the shortcut back out of the Lost Woods. But first, we have to talk to the owl again. Yeah, there's a lot of those songs. We've noticed that. I've learned like 4 of them already. He's going to explain to us that if we hold up the ocarina in an area where we need to play a song, a musical staff will appear telling us that we need to use it there. Yeah. No, we don't. Yeah, we've already been figuring that much out. They're not hard to memorize. I have them memorized all these years later for the most part. Yeah, so as you can see, 12 songs in total, we've learned 4. There we go. This will take the shortcut out. And I want to go back in because there's one more thing I want to do before we leave. Alright, over here, there's a Skull Kid. Not the Skull Kid from Majora's Mask. That's a different character. I think. So, if we play our newly learned Saria's song to him, he will become our friend, and he'll give us a reward. And that reward is a heart piece, our first one. So, that's nice. There is also, we can get another one if there's some other Skull Kids in this forest we can get to at some point. Like I said, I don't know how much of the side stuff I'm going to do. I'm going to try to do as much as I can. But I don't exactly remember where the second set of Skull Kids is to get the second heart piece, and it's harder. It's not just playing Saria's song. We have to actually follow them along in a song. Might be worthwhile. I don't really know. This isn't a very hard game. But anyway, first heart piece down. Alright, and now, without further ado, we head back to Kakariko Village. And now we can head up to Death Mountain. I hope none of you are getting tired of watching me walk across Hyrule Field, because I'm sorry to tell you this, it's going to be a while before we unlock fast travel. I wouldn't be surprised, in fact, if that's something we get a bit quicker in the remake. But that would really change the game, so it might not work. And this is why the Song of Soaring in Majora's Mask was a better idea than all the various songs that teleport you around in this game. Alright, now we need the letter to show to this guard so he'll let us through. Well, one can read. Then again, there's very much this attitude among the adults that children really aren't capable of doing anything, despite the fact children seem to be the ones doing everything in this. Well, Zelda was direct and to the point. I see. Yeah, but you can't ignore an order from your princess, can you? Yeah. Yeah, well, you can laugh at me all you want. Okay, by the way, Mr. Hero, if you're going to climb Death Mountain, this is the guard who tells us that we should equip a proper shield. I have already done it. He also tells us there's a discount if we go back to Town Market. I don't know what the price difference is. I don't really care. Because I already paid full price for my shield. Like I said, it's a video game. We can get infinite money really easily in this game. It's not that big of a deal. He also wants us to do a favor for him. It involves us going back to the Happy Mask shop that just opened in Hyrule Castletown. We walked past it. He wants us to get a mask for him. We can do that. This is just a side content thing, just another way of getting some money. I might do this. Then again, considering how creepy the Happy Mask salesman is in Majora's Mask, I might want to just avoid him altogether. So we'll see how that goes. We will be going back to Hyrule Castle at some point, so it's not going to be too out of our way anyway. Alright, so now we make it to Death Mountain Trail, and we need to make it up to the Goron City, which is probably where we're going to call it for this video, because that means we can focus on the problems in this region next. We have some Tektites to deal with in the meantime. They jump over the slingshot really well, so it's probably best to just stun them with the Deku nuts and then just attack them with the sword. Alright. Very simple, really. I accidentally used 2. Deku nuts are not hard to come by. Alright, and here we have our first Goron. This is also, by the way, the first game in which the Gorons were not enemies. They showed up in Link to the Past, but they were enemies in that. The stone-eating people who live in Death Mountain. Yeah. They eat rocks, people. This huge boulder there leads to Dongo's Cavern. That's the next dungeon. Many Dongos suddenly appeared inside, and it became a very dangerous place. On top of that, a Gerudo in black armor used his magic to seal the entrance with that boulder. Alright, if you want to hear more gossip, Goron City is just a little way up the trail. It won't take much longer to get there, even on foot, yeah. So we're going to head up there, and then we're going to call it for today. Alright, there's just one thing between us in Goron City, and it's this guy right here, hopefully. No, hit me! Well, at least he didn't knock me all the way down. That can happen. Yeah. Alright. So, this is going to be Goron City right here. And this is where we are going to be calling it for today in a moment. Welcome to Goron City. At least it's not really near an active volcano this time. Well, sort of is, but far enough away not to worry about lava just yet. Over crying out loud, I just want to speak to you. Yeah, he's so hungry because everyone feels pain from hunger because the food shortage in this town, which is not really a food shortage, it's just they've apparently they live on a diet of rocks, right? They said. But because the most delicious rocks and nutritious rocks are inside Dongo's Cavern, they've just become really picky eaters. Yeah, so we can't stand to eat rocks from anywhere else. So it's not really the fact that they're going through a food crisis or anything. It's just the fact that they can't be bothered to eat anything else. Well, we have to sort out this problem anyway, because we need the spiritual stone of fire. So that's what we're going to be doing next time. I'm going to save for now, and when we come back next week, we're going to continue exploring Gerudo City and Dongo's Cavern. Thank you for watching, everyone. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and please join me here again next time as we continue trying to beat Ocarina of Time before the remake comes out. I think this is a pretty good start. I think going 2 hours at a time is going to work perfectly for us. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please come back next time. And we will pick up then with more Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. Goodbye, everyone!